For the first time in more than half a century, NASA is getting ready to put human beings back on a trajectory toward the moon. Not landing yet, but crossing the threshold. Artemis 2 is the moment we stop talking about returning to deep space, but actually doing it. This mission matters because it's not a stunt. It's a systems test with people on board. 4 astronauts strapped into Orion, riding the most powerful rocket ever flown, the Space Launch System, looping around the moon and coming home. No lunar landing, no flags, just physics, engineering, and nerve. The technology powering Artemis 2 is old-school ambition fused with modern paranoia. Redundancy everywhere. Every system assumes something will fail and plans for it. Orion's heat shield has to survive re-entry at nearly 25,000 miles per hour. Hotter than lava. Hotter than re-entry during Apollo. Its life support systems are designed for weeks in deep space, not hours in low Earth orbit. This isn't a space station joyride. This is the real vacuum. Rocket itself is a Frankenstein in the best sense. Space shuttle engines reborn, solid rocket boosters refined, software written with decades of lessons baked in, many of them paid for in disasters we'd rather not repeat. Artemis 2 is flying on the accumulated scar tissue of human spaceflight. And here's the quiet truth beneath all the hype. This mission isn't about the moon. It's about proving we can still do hard things, that we can build machines that work where mistakes mean death, that we can leave Earth's gravity well, not for clicks or symbolism, but to relearn how to explore. If Artemis 2 succeeds, it won't just carry astronauts around the moon. It will carry us politically, technologically, culturally into the next era of human exploration.
Welcome to the Retrospect podcast, a show where people come together from different walks of life and discuss a topic from their generation's perspective. My name is Ian, and as always, I'm joined by Stoney.
Hello.
And Jason.
Hello, everyone.
It has been a long time since we've had this guest on the podcast, but
He's back.
he's back.
I'm back. Thanks for having me, guys.
No problem.
Appreciate
We got Mr. Bill on the podcast again. Do you guys remember what episode he was on?
No.
It was episode 96.
Oh, wow.
96?
96.
What episode we're on right now?
224 is today.
224.
So
Wow.
It's been a little while. So
Now, was that around the time I had my accident?
I believe
right?
so, because I think Miranda joined us for that one
That's-
instead
yes.
of Stoney. So
Yep, that's exactly what it was.
okay. Well, anyway, just wanted to say that. Welcome to the
Thank
show.
you, I appreciate it.
No problem.
Hey, just for the record,
What you got?
has anybody here or our listeners, have you ever said, I'll do that when hell freezes over?
Uh-oh.
Just for the record, you're scheduled to do that this week.
Yeah. I saw the news. It's supposed to like
Freeze
really
over.
cold and maybe some ice or something.
I don't know if it's going to get that far down to us, but it's close.
Yeah. It's
So-
going to probably be just enough to cause everything to disrupt for, maybe 12 hours.
If it's below 55, it's cold.
Yeah, right.
Come on now.
Well,
If it's enough for water to freeze, it's cold enough.
I've been watching the news. I just saw the governor had an announcement, and
Right.
everybody's talking about it. But
Yeah.
I don't think if you recall about this time last year is when we had the big
Oh, yeah.
snowstorm.
You're
I mean,
right.
I don't think anybody expected that either.
Well,
So-
here's the problems. Doge comes in and fires 200 scientists that nobody knows while they're getting paid. And all of a sudden, for the first time in recorded history, since we have been recording these things,
Right.
no hurricane came into the Gulf of Mexico nor hit the continental United States of America
That's amazing.
for the first time ever. And we wonder if there's weather control.
I've said it before.
Well,
I don't believe it, but he likes to play around with it. So
Well, we know we can see clouds.
Well,
we know we can see clouds.
No,
It works.
I would
You
agree.
can make it rain.
I would agree with Stoney that I do believe that governments have been trying to manipulate weather for for some time now. I believe that's pretty much been documented, that there have been efforts at cloud seeding and stuff like that. Now, what they've learned and what they've been able to manipulate, I don't know. But there's something to what he said that
Well, getting ready for this event coming in a couple of days, Miranda and I, we went to a grocery store to try to do some prep work for this. And there's a new grocery store in our area, and it opened up by the house. And as we were walking around, we found when in the vegetable aisle there is this automatic water mister in the vegetable aisle that sprays the water down to keep the vegetables fresh. And just before it kicks in the background, you hear some light distant thunder and the smell of fresh rain. And I'm like, oh my God, baby, look at this. This is kind of crazy.
They're controlling the weather.
And so, no, when you get a little further down and you get to the milk section, you hear cows mooing and you smell fresh cut hay.
No.
And I'm like, oh my God. Well, this is trying to get you to buy their stuff.
Oh, right.
And so when you walk by
Manipulate
the eggs,
senses.
you hear the hens clucking and the air fills with the smell of bacon and eggs frying.
Okay.
And you're like, holy cow, this is amazing. I will, however, never shop for toilet paper in that store again.
There you go.
I'm just putting that out there. I will never do that again. But the rest of the stuff was great.
Love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you give the government a little too much credit there, Stoney.
I think so.
Well, no, I'm just talking about a grocery store. And if everything else smells like it's supposed to, the toilet paper smelling like what?
There you go. Yeah.
And I'm not giving the government credit for this, but I am giving the ultra elite credit for doing these things.
Oh, okay. Big.
And I think the government is just a tool of the ultra elite, the BlackRock, State Streets, and Vanguards.
I think we need to talk about your hat too.
Well,
My hat? What's
maybe.
wrong with my hat?
Yeah. Your
That's all
hat,
your hat.
your hat is.
Y'all like my new hat?
It's an interesting. It's
Well,
an
I
interesting
had a hat that I wore every
statement you're making.
my hat said, think while it's still legal, was the hat I wore every episode.
Yeah.
And now
We'll have to bleep this hat.
We'll have to bleep this one?
if you want to keep it as not explicit.
What's it say?
Well, I don't. Yeah, well, I'm not going to say
What does it say? Go ahead, read it, Ian.
100% bitter old, effers club, and it says lifetime member on it. So there you go. So yeah,
Well.
didn't you have you had a comment from somebody, Jason, about the episode?
Yeah,
about,
matter of fact, whenever the opportunity presents itself, I try to share the podcast.
But we love reading this stuff.
But I love this little comment I got, and she mentioned after she had turned on to it. She texted me back, and I'm trying to find it right now. He goes, I'm listening to your latest podcast, and the older guy is funny.
What's her name? What's her?
Samantha.
Samantha, thank you, Samantha. I appreciate you recognizing and appreciate my trying sense of humor sometimes.
So Samantha, thank you for tuning in and joining the Retrospect family.
Yes.
So we very much appreciate it.
All right, so we're talking about some fun stuff.
Yeah, we
today.
kind of think the whole point was to try to get away from the real serious stuff and maybe talk about some things that.
Well, before we get started in this one here, is there anyone sitting at the fancy Retrospect podcast table that does not believe we went to the moon in 1969?
I believe we did.
I believe we did.
I believe we did.
Okay, so do I.
There you go.
Okay, good.
I'm the only one old enough to actually remember it, but
Be surprised. There's a growing segment of people out there who do not believe we actually went.
Right.
And you know what? On the surface of their argument, I can understand their reason, because they're saying if we can go to the moon in 1960, whatever it was.
Yeah.
And we're in 2026 and have never been able to go back there. What's going on here?
Right.
I mean, because you would think the technology would have advanced enough
Oh yeah.
to at least make multiple trips there.
We've all heard the comments about how we hold computers that are like 20 times more powerful in our
Right.
pockets.
10,000 more times,
whatever, in our pockets compared to the computers that brought us to the moon. So everyone's like, well, we should be. When you say that, it's like we should be flying in space by now, and it's like, well. priorities.
I just think at that time in the country with President Kennedy, I think that was, kind of really the beginnings of the Cold War. I think there was a true national race against the Soviet Union.
I agree.
And I think as a country, we were more homogeneous, homogenous, however you want to say it. I don't think we have the wherewithal right now as far as the government and NASA doing it by itself,
right,
as it was then. So you now have actors now that have come in that are now, they've kind of taken that mantle over. So you got people like Elon Musk now with SpaceX and all these, some of these people that
private
are
companies,
private companies, which I think is the future. I think it's going to be a government-private partnerships and how we do this stuff now, because I think with so many people pulling out what they want the government to do for them.
Oh yeah.
I just don't think there's enough room at the table for everybody to kind of put that aside to say, what about going back to the moon?
Yeah.
Where does that stand on the priority list of important things?
Yeah.
I would love to be able to break the bonds of Earth and to expand our presence out in the cosmos. I mean, I kind of find that fascinating. I always have. And, of course, we won't be around, but I mean, I often wonder about the future, hundreds of years in the future, if we don't have our great filter, that we're able to break those bonds and be able to actually have lunar colonies and regular trips to Mars and being able to just navigate our own solar system. I think that's
that's the first step in avoiding the fourth turning. If you think about it, if we ever want to get to Mars, we're going to have to do it via the moon. If we ever want to get anywhere, we're going to have to do it via the moon. And we don't know what type of precious metals and elements and things like that are on the moon, because the moon is not part of the Earth. The moon came from somewhere else. And until we find out what's really buried in there and the gold, the different things that are there, what can we use to benefit mankind? And we're going to have to get there and have a lot of people there to be able to start figuring those things out. I would think. Y'all are welcome to disagree with me, but the moon is the next door.
I love it, but can we fix the interstates first?
There you go.
And then move to the moon? I'm cool with that.
Yeah. I think the big thing too, like right now, is that like, it's like we keep talking about the great filter, the fourth turning stuff. I think it's like we have to probably get through that to get on the other side of it. Like to get to that, we have to probably break down at least a little bit in some capacity to get through
It's going to cost $4.1 billion per launch is what this one is going to take.
It's 4.1 with a
$4.1 billion.
Yeah, that's a lot of money.
And that's what I'm saying. It's like, okay, what are you getting for that $4.1 billion expenditure? So, I mean, look, I am very much people like Elon Musk that are what I call revolutionaries, however you want to describe these people. I personally think he's the modern day Nikola Tesla of our generation. People have said he's Einstein. I said, no, he ain't Einstein. He's Nikola Tesla of our time.
But you also have to think about NASA has not talked about anything like this until Elon Musk said exactly almost the same thing that I did, that he wants to get to the moon so that he can get to Mars.
Right.
Yep.
And now all of a sudden NASA can't have a private person beating them to the moon and then beating them to Mars.
Of course.
So now all of a sudden we have to find all this money. And I say personally, this is just me. All we have to do is shut down Minnesota and take all of that money and pour it toward NASA. I would be a lot happier with it going to NASA and go instead of just going to the terrorist organizations around the world. How about we go to the moon?
Yeah,
Use the Minnesota money.
I feel like Did y'all discuss this maybe last week?
It might have been, yes.
I do remember that.
Or I think it was 2 weeks ago. I think last week was Venezuela.
Yeah. Okay.
That's what I'm saying. It's
Yeah,
just the
still,
amount
you're
of the
probably-
amount
yeah.
of money that it's we spend on a variety of different things. I mean, I think I saw the latest number of just what does fraud cost the U.S. government.
yeah.
I think it was over $1.2 trillion.
Yes.
So,
Golly.
Yes.
I mean, it's an enormous amount of money that if say that, and there's always going to be that in anything, but just say if you can minimize that and to redirect that money to other things, how
Like
would
our
you-
interstates?
Yeah, well,
So look,
interstate.
I do think space exploration is very good. I like it. The problem is you have people on the other side who will say, well, what does that do for us?
Yeah.
What does it actually do that we send people to the moon?
Well, I actually covered that. I said, what if if the Earth has a finite amount of resources, gold, silver, platinum, all of these things that we need, what does the moon hold? Instead of destroying our planet, instead of digging these big holes and cutting down trees on the Earth, how about we go cut some holes, and the moon is already filled with holes. How about we go to the moon and take those resources from the moon and leave our planet whole and
think
stop
that's
cutting down trees?
I think I could be wrong, but I don't think they have a whole bunch of resources on the moon.
Oh, they do.
I know, but like not like a diverse. I think, or I could be wrong, but I could have swore it was like it was a.
I know they want to. I know they want to. They want to mine asteroids, and, there's talk of that. And
Well, it's the same. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
It's what I'm talking about. What can we find there? If we could get what we need from up there and find a semi-cost-effective way back and forth,
Right.
we could leave
But
our
I think-
trees here on the planet.
But I think possibly what Bill's probably talking about is like the average person. I mean, or like what is that going to do for me?
Yeah,
and like
the
you could
average
say
person.
that.
Well, the average
But-
person is worried about cutting trees.
Well,
the average
maybe,
person is worried about
but-
digging holes on
right.
our planet.
But I
the
think-
average person is worried about what water do you destroy in the mining process.
I think even lower than that. I think the average person's worried about like my utility bill, my rent, how my car is going to get filled up with gas, like that kind of stuff. So I'm talking about possibly. But I think you're right though.
You're exactly correct.
You're right.
This is interesting here. Is that this is the first time that you're going to have a mission to carry humans since 1972. It was the last time that humans were kind of involved in this sort of deal. It's a 10-day mission.
Wow, that's actually shorter than I thought.
Yeah, he said now Artemis 1 actually successfully flew Orion around the moon without astronauts in 2022.
Okay.
And they said this will be the first time that humans will travel aboard that spacecraft and venture beyond low Earth orbit in more than 50 years.
Wow.
And it said during the mission, astronauts will travel thousands of miles beyond the moon, experience deep space radiation, test life support, navigation, and communication systems in real flight conditions.
I don't know about you guys, but I get nervous driving to a new place.
Yeah.
These guys are flying out of the.
Yeah. That's scary stuff. That's also like I feel like there's a whole like branch of horror. It's like deep space horror stuff and just like the fear of just. Obviously, people are afraid of like the open ocean and deep open water, and I think the same kind of thing happens with like just deep out in space. And I feel like I would have that same like existential crisis if I was to go beyond
Agreed.
the moon and just that like I'm in the vast emptiness of space right now. That's got to be terrifying.
Yeah, the 4 astronauts are Reed Weissman, he's the commander, Victor Glover, he's pilot, Christina Koch, mission specialist, and Jeremy Hansen. He's actually from the Canadian space. Oh,
fun.
So he's the Canadian on
And I'm
board.
like, why are we taking a Canadian?
Yeah.
Well, diversity.
Well, no, all they do is take, what is it? How many $200 billion a year out of our economy anyway?
Hey.
Why we got to take one of them with us?
Refer to your hat, please, sir.
There you go.
Artemis, it's they say the launch date is tentatively set for no earlier than February 5th.
Oh, that's quick. Okay.
Yeah, so
That's
it's coming
soon.
up, and they're going to launch from the Kennedy Space Center.
Wow.
which I got to see finally for the first time.
Yeah, I
Never seen-
forgot about that.
I
Yeah.
did. I went to go see NASA. That was interesting to go actually drive around and see all the different, just how they wheel those rockets
Oh,
to those launch pads. It's just
crazy.
absolutely incredible. Just the amount of concrete
Oh yeah,
that's at that facility is just unbelievable.
that's wild. But yeah,
Sustained abundance.
okay,
That is Elon's term.
okay. Is that like his catchphrase or something?
His catchphrase,
I see.
sustained abundance. Everything we do will be scalable and meant to be towards the future of humans and mankind.
Yeah. Even though he's divisive and people don't like him for a number of reasons, politically or otherwise, I have a feeling that whether anybody likes to admit it or not, I think he's gonna be like one of those people that's gonna be a changer of history in some way.
The man is a visionary.
Yeah.
100%.
Maybe not like hands-on stuff, but like the fact that he can get companies together, get people together, and come up with ideas, crazy stuff. Like those are the kind of, like you said, visionaries, leaders in some way that can make things happen. Yeah.
What's some of the tech powering this stuff? I mean,
So you've got a few things. He's really big on his hardware for essentially his GPUs, right? So it was originally called Hardware 3 and 2 and 1 and his Teslas. Well, now it's been upgraded to AI5.
Okay.
AI5 is this new chip that's coming out later this year to power most of the Teslas. I don't know if you saw just today. I know this episode is coming out next week, but he is going to start with vehicles that will be unsupervised
Right.
in Austin. That was announced today with no more safety riders.
Oh.
So that's a new one. It's for a long time it's been going where you have some safety riders. Well, now it's nobody in the car.
Yeah.
That's the first step, and this is under Hardware 4. Now you have AI5 coming out that's going to power the cars. It's going to power some of the Optimus robots coming out. He's building these giant Colossus farms with thousands of GPUs in them, and now you're going to have AI6 coming out, which he claims will be 9 months, but it'll probably be a couple years.
Yeah.
Then AI7, and they're scalable, and he sees AI7 as being interdisciplinary. So he wants to see this as all over the place, maybe the moon, maybe on satellites.
Oh.
And it's just going to expand and get big. I said interdisciplinary. I meant interplanetary.
We know. What you
Oh, okay.
But I've said this before, and I'll say it again now. Please refer to my hat. I'll have one word for y'all: Skynet.
Okay.
Oh, yes. I have Skynet visions all the time on this.
Skynet.
Yeah.
well, I mentioned it in our episode on AI data centers.
Yeah.
I said I truly believe that right now we are laying the groundwork for a world that we're not going to recognize in the next 25 years or so. We don't realize it now because we're kind of at the ground level building up. But people at that time, if we're still alive, we'll look back on it and go, "Yes, I remember when that got started." And
But how
that's
many
what's going to
times-
power. That's what's going to power our economy. And
Absolutely. But how many times have we talked about the CIA and the other alphabets using Hollywood to get us ready for things coming out? See, we say Skynet because of the Terminator movies. What was the original?
I've never heard of Terminator. What is that?
Oh, wow. Okay.
I have no mouth and I
what
must
was
scream.
The original, what was the original Skynet? Whopper.
yeah, back in War Games,
War Games. They've been telling us this.
1982.
Something like that.
Yeah.
They've been telling us this for a while that it's coming because most people don't realize that AI, we did this in our AI episode, AI has been around since the mid-60s. Okay?
Oh yeah, they've shown that.
But they've only presented it to us in the last couple of years, but they've been preparing us with the movies and the television shows from Hollywood because of that little demonic, work together that I believe has been happening for a very, very long time. They've been preparing us for this.
What was that movie with Tom Cruise?
What?
Minority Report.
Minority
Yeah.
Report. That's
And now
another one.
What's the one coming out Friday?
I don't know.
Chris Pratt, the guy from Jurassic
Oh,
Park.
yeah.
Is it Mercy?
I think so.
Something. It's
Do tell.
It's based on I believe it's a police officer, and he comes up with this AI.
You're right. It's Mercy.
Vision, and long story short, he gets basically framed, and you have to go in front of an AI judge.
Oh,
that
wow.
judges you. It looks good. I want to see it.
Oh, wow.
It's a big,
That actually is
it's a big AI focused kind of movie. I think it's going to be like a interesting thriller action type movie.
May have to tell a hottie doctor about that one and go
Leave
check
your
that
hat
one
at
out.
home, though.
Why?
I wouldn't wear that hat.
Why you don't like my hat, man?
Because it says you're old, man.
I am old.
As of the
he is a boomer.
as of the release of this episode, the movie has already come out. But for us recording it, it actually comes out tomorrow.
Okay.
So there you go.
All right.
But yeah,
One thing, I don't know how or why, but I was curious about the spacesuits.
oh yeah, okay.
And the old spacesuits cost between $15 and $22 million range back then, which inflated dollars would be $80 million to $150 million today.
Crazy.
The new spacesuit is only $12 million in production costs today.
Wow.
But it's more flexible. It's modular.
Right.
It's upgraded.
Yeah.
It's
That's
very
interesting.
upgraded. I was very curious about that, but that includes the support backpack, everything to keep them alive during that time, and that includes landing on the moon.
Yeah.
That's walking around the moon too.
I wonder how
thought
cool it looks, but does it look cool?
Well, the other one did not.
Well, I mean,
but it did protect them.
Yeah.
Was it a picture of one?
I don't know. I wonder.
Have they released?
I did
picture of
not
it?
see a picture of it yet, so I was just curious about the costs of it. So.
I'm gonna look it up right now and see if there's actually anything on it.
So you said they're launching they're launching the ship in South Florida. They're not doing it in Texas.
No, it's in Kennedy Space Center with a splashdown as right now planned in the Pacific Ocean off San Diego. A distance of, I think, a total distance of 620,000 miles round trip. You're going to use a gravity assist that naturally brings Orion back to Earth. Just kind of some basic stats on the actual vehicles itself. The height of the stack is 322 feet tall. Thrust at liftoff, 8.8 million pounds of thrust. And Orion gross liftoff weight is 78,000 pounds. I mentioned it in my intro, re-entry velocity at 25,000 miles per hour. The parachute sequence slows from, it's just incredible, slows from Mach 32 to splash down in over 20 minutes.
That's crazy.
Jeez.
I will say that the new suits do look pretty cool. I think they look pretty nice. They're like a bright orange, and they have like blue like straps across them with like a nice white helmet with the black visor. It's pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie. So.
It looks like that these are private suits. This is a private company, and NASA will be renting the
So these are
suits and the services.
proprietary.
And it cost the
government
company
designed?
almost $2 billion
To develop.
to get to this point.
Yeah, just R&D.
Yeah.
Try.
But the NASA will rent the suits and the services. Hopefully
Interesting.
that wasn't the lowest bidder.
I hope not. I've got a friend that works for SpaceX, and he said you have got to make a trip to South Texas because to see an 11-story rocket take
Oh
off,
wow! I can only imagine.
pictures do not do it justice. The problem is there's no easy way to get there. It's like an 18-hour drive,
Yes.
and it's way in the middle of nowhere. Okay, you fly to Houston, you still have to drive 10 hours to the site. So there's really no easy way to get there. So I have to bucket list that one day. But
Yeah.
that's impressive because I think about how my day went, and what these people are able to accomplish is very impressive.
I will never forget watching the video when it released of the rocket falling back to the surface and then correcting and like auto adjusting itself and then landing on a base like at SpaceX or whatever, like the big tower, how it lands back, and I was like, that's crazy.
We all thought it was AI. I thought it was
yeah,
real.
yeah. Until I was like, anyways, I watched that movie probably that clip 100 times now of it just like landing back and pitching and getting itself all situated and then just like landing back down. I was like, there are moments when I'm like, we're not quite in the future. And there's moments like that we're like, ooh, man, but we're getting there.
I came back to the nerdiest episode that you guys have ever recorded. This is great. It fits me perfect. I feel like I'm at home.
I love it. Well, if ever you want to come back on for another nerdy episode, we're
they're
not done yet. But
they're actually talking about doing the actual landing on the moon in 2027, according to Elon's timetable. But as usual, NASA is, of course, saying, no, well, that's not probably going to happen because
we got to fast track it.
There's delays. Typical, you have the visionary saying, we're doing it, and then you have a government agency say, well, he hadn't secured all the permits and blah, 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 they're
going to find a way
to,
As much as I love Elon and what he's doing, his timetables are pretty bad.
Right. Well, he's ambitious, like
but
we
here's
talked
the
about.
thing:
so,
if you don't have those timetables, it's going to take even longer. You have to set the bar and then try to achieve that bar.
I worked with a man who was, I would say, a visionary like that. Who was a big person. He was, was a big ideas guy. He came up with some really big concepts and some stuff.
He's a macro guy.
And he knew how to get people around a table and get people hyped about something and say, great, you do this, and you do this. And before I can even say no or start to question things, I'm knee deep in a project and I'm like, man, how did I get involved in all this? But I'm having a great time doing it, and I feel like we're doing a lot of good work and that kind of stuff.
Right.
And I would imagine that probably working alongside, and again, but I say this because he also had that kind of problem where he's like, I want this in a few months. And I'm the guy who has to be like, okay, boss, that's a bit quick, but I can try to make it work if we do such and such. And then, anyways, what I'm trying to say is, I feel like if I was to work around Elon enough, it'd be the same process of like, there are some realists at the table that have to say, hey boss, I'm sorry, but like you want us to do it by next year, and it's going to be a bit difficult to make that happen.
But you have to think about too, like our leadership episode, you described him as somebody that you could follow.
Yeah.
You enjoyed following, you enjoyed working for. So what he did was he gave you his vision, you bought into it, and then he allows you to help dictate how we're going to get there.
Yeah.
And so he has better faith in that. And I have Elon is kind of probably the same way, even though they say he is kind of eccentric. Yeah. But he can still be a good leader, set a goal, and then let's everybody work together on how we're going to get there.
Right.
And you described him to a T in that you bought into it.
Yeah.
How can we get there? And if you don't set that bar, there's no reason to get there.
Bill, weren't you telling me about how Elon published the code for X? Or tell me about I'm trying to remember. What did you tell me?
So the man is such a visionary. Most people that keep all their proprietary secrets close and tight knit. Well, the X algorithm was kind of struggling and having some issues. So he said, you know what? I'm going to publish the whole thing. So he published the entire algorithm for X on GitHub at midnight the other night.
Really?
And it was everything. So I took the algorithm and threw it in some AI and said, tell me how I can make my X account better. Tell me how I can have more followers. And it spits out a variation through the LLM, the learning model. This is exactly what you need to do to grow your following. So I haven't done it yet, but that's where we're going.
That's not the first time he's done that.
Oh, I'm sure he's done it a couple times.
When he came out with the Tesla car, everything in Tesla was open to the public. He said other car companies can use this technology, and he let it all out.
Wow. That I keep saying.
He said anybody that wants to use this is free to do so.
He is Nikola Tesla. Nikola Tesla. That's what I'm saying. People need to read up on Nikola. He wanted to provide free electricity for the world. He just didn't have the means and the ability.
Can you imagine if he was alive today, what he could do?
Oh my God!
We'd have the best interstates ever. They'd be legit.
We'd have wireless power.
I mean, his IQ was I don't know if anybody's ever topped
with the technology we have today. Can you imagine him being born 20 years ago and waking up today becoming Nikola Tesla with his mentality? He would probably be working side by side with Elon Musk, making this whole world better.
So we're talking about Artemis 2.
Yes.
Artemis 1 was 2022. What about Artemis 3? Is there an Artemis 3?
I know that I just saw that there's some suits made for it apparently, or,
Yeah,
or in development.
That is Artemis 3 to go to in
Oh, to land.
2027.
Oh, okay.
That's
I
the
see.
plan is to land on the moon next.
So 2 is just to bring them around.
In essence, it's a test. So
Right, right.
let's go ahead. We're going to put people in this capsule.
Yes.
We're going to send them around the moon, see how they live in that environment that far from Earth.
Yep.
It's funny you said it's a test. They actually came out and said, this is not a victory lap. This is only a test flight.
Yeah.
This is not a victory lap.
I mean, ultimately, the goal is to be able to do, okay, if we can get people, they can live comfortably in that environment, the systems work, and okay, if we can now put them on the moon, because the ultimate goal is to start then bringing material to the moon and to start building things there. That's the ultimate goal, because I'm telling you, that's game breaker. If you can start actually constructing, we've talked about this in our Great Filter episode regarding the ability to build megalithic structures. You know, these gigantic things that requires literally global effort to really build, because you got to use a ton of resources to accomplish these things. That's why I think ultimately there's going to have to be some coming together in some way for us to break out of the tribalistic way we kind of run our lives. And I think until something happens where we as a species, as human beings, or we kind of have the veil pulled out from our eyes that, you know, like an alien species or something to say, you're not alone.
Yeah.
And we're a lot smarter than you are. And we've mastered interstellar travel. And y'all are still throwing sticks at one another. I mean, that's in essence what's going on here. So, and we have to somehow get beyond that. And I think it's going to be like people like Elon and whoever else is out there. There'll probably be some other Elons out there that just, you know, they're maybe just as smart as he is.
Yeah.
You know, that just, for whatever reason, have not stepped up. But, you know, what I think his vision is to be able to build structures on the moon. This is going to require more than a country doing this. It's going. You need the globe doing this kind of stuff.
Elon's end game is to reside on Mars.
Yeah, I think he does.
I thought that too myself.
Which tells me I don't know if he feels like Earth is a viable place.
He's so smart. What if he's really an alien?
Oh, what if
that's been put out there?
Right.
Yeah, I know. I've heard that too.
There's a clip online that someone talks about this, where he's like, if you look at all the companies that Elon has, once you start like putting it all down, once you start like looking at it all together, you're like, oh, it makes sense, because if we're going to be living on Mars, he has a boring company where he like is digging holes and things. He's like, we probably can't live on the surface of Mars, but what if we could live underground? And he's like, obviously, you know, we can't set up that infrastructure up there by ourselves with no atmosphere. So he has robots now that he can build infrastructure and all that kind of stuff and can survive with no gravity. We have cars that can be driven without fossil fuels, because if we are to drive around up there, we're going to probably not have to burn fossil fuel. Anyways, just all that kind of stuff. When you start looking at it, you're like, oh, I think he had joked around about his whole goal is to go live on Mars. But anyways.
Well, now he's going to go buy Ryanair too.
There you go.
Have y'all heard that one?
I've
Which
not.
one?
So Ryanair is an airline.
Yeah.
And he got into a little spat on X with the CEO, and he basically said, well, I'm just going to buy you.
That's crazy.
And now it's trending on some of these sites that he's going to actually buy Ryanair. So now you've got space travel, you got air travel, you've got the Boring Company, you've got cars, you've got robots, you've got Starlink, you've got...
Yeah, Starlink, that's another thing too.
Battery packs, you've got solar roofs.
Yep.
Well, this whole Artemis thing, they're not using radio waves even for communication anymore.
Really?
It's a whole new communication system, and it's laser based.
Oh, that's fun.
Remember, how long did they say it would take communication to go to the moon, back and forth to the moon?
Whatever the speed of light is, I'm assuming.
Yeah, but it would take, but now it's supposedly faster and more secure, and it's a better communication system. I didn't read that article, but That looked really interesting.
It better be HIPAA and CGIS compliant.
Well, it says Artemis 2 was originally, and I didn't know this, originally designated Exploration Mission 2, or EM2, and was initially intended to support the now canceled Asteroid Redirect mission. Its objectives were revised following the establishment of the Artemis program. So,
well, when they're looking at going to the moon and going to Mars, what's the first thing they look for?
I don't know. What you mean?
Aside from aliens, what's the first thing they really look for?
When they're heading to the moon?
When they're thinking about going to the moon and when they're thinking about going to Mars, what's the first thing they look for on that planet?
resources.
Water.
Okay.
Why?
Standard.
Why is water the first thing they look for?
Life.
Because they know, number one, you got to breathe it, got to drink it, but you also need the hydrogen and the oxygen for rocket fuel. So we're not going to be able to bring rocket fuel in any sources from Earth to...
We're going to have to make it.
We're going to have to make the rocket fuel
Right.
using the ice sources at the South Pole. But then when you look at it, you have to think they're going to have to still transport that because the sunlight, because that's where you're going to want your energy with solar panels. Hello, Elon Musk and all his solar stuff is going to have to be on the North Pole. So you're going to have to travel the ice from the South Pole to the North Pole for all the production facilities. So you can turn it into oxygen, drinking water, and fuel, because that's going to take you to Mars.
You know, shout out to this crew. That's
Yeah.
I'm just it's amazing to me that you've got these 4 or 5 people involved just to go. But you've also got, we couldn't get a submersible at the bottom of the ocean and exploded.
Yeah.
Now you've got these people that completely foreign territory. I'm going to go out there and I'd be worried about how I'm going to get home. That's the first thing I'm going to be worried about when I go. But I'm just fascinated that they must not have that genetic part of their brain that has fear.
Maybe. I don't know. Or either that, or unless you have so much faith in the people that are building the ship to get there. You know what I mean? I feel like
You got to trust your people.
That's what I'm saying.
Trust,
But
man.
think they're
Right,
doing
right.
it with today's technology. Think about in 1969.
right.
Oh, yeah, that's
That's a different story.
That's what I'm saying. I mean,
Those were flyboys back then.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
Pen
I
and
mean,
paper.
look,
Yeah.
this is the spirit that,
Yeah.
that inspired those, earliest people that got on ships and
The true explorers.
the true explorers that
Yeah.
they didn't know what was beyond they thought the earth was flat and they're going to fall off the edge of the earth when they were in their ships. I mean, so they didn't know what to expect.
But
I
maybe
mean,
all
so-
this will stimulate some growth, meaning when Top Gun came out, there
Oh,
was a
yeah.
surge of pilots. When Apollo 13 came out, there's a surge of people. Maybe
Yeah.
you have the military movies, maybe all this space exploration will encourage our younger
I read
generation.
an article. There's a game called Fallout 76, and they say every time a new season or episode comes out on the TV, they get more players on the game.
Yeah.
Maybe
Oh,
that'll
yeah,
have
yeah,
it.
yeah.
Aren't you a Fallout guy?
oh, yeah, I love it.
Stuff. It's good stuff.
Love it.
You're right, and I think that could be a big thing that could. I mean, I don't know. You're right. I think it could
We need
potentially get a lot of
something
people
to
involved.
inspire the youth of
Yes,
today,
we do.
because it seems like nothing's truly inspiring them. And I'm hoping, because I remember what it was like back in 1969, the pride, the energy that was going on in America in the space race to beat Russia, to do that, to put those people there. That was a huge energy source, just in American pride. And you walked around with your chest bowed out. And I just hope that some of that can come back to America.
I mean, Ian and I missed that.
I was born
He
in
doesn't
I was
remember.
I don't I was born in '69. So
He doesn't
I mean,
remember it.
I mean, I don't. I mean, that's what I'm saying. I go back to we talk about the ills of our world today and what's going on. We see it on the news every day, and just the unrest and unhappiness and this and that and everything else. As I'm saying, the United States was a different country at that time.
Oh, yeah.
It just was. We're not the same country that those people that made up that energy
I hit
that accomplished that. I'm not saying we can't do it,
Yeah.
but it's going to require something for people to kind of stop and put aside all the pettiness and think big. And I just right now I don't see it in us right now to do that. We're just kind of playing around with the margins. We're not really moving the needle, so to speak. And maybe this might do it. Who knows?
I made the joke, I think, on the show, or if not, I'll say it again. I had gone to Disney World a couple years ago, and I remember going to Tomorrowland, and it's like this kind of, I think now the vibe of it's called retro future. So it's like the future that like the 50s and 60s kind of thought was going to be the future.
Almost like Jetsons.
Yeah, the Jetsons as well. Yeah, that kind of stuff. And like you walk around and there's all these like exhibits and all these things about like Walt Disney and these ideas that he had, or these like what his ideas or visions for what Epcot was going to be. It was going to be like a city, and anyway, like, just all these different things. And like the more and more I walked around, the more I realized like there was this like optimism for the future, this like hope for what could be, this like constantly like looking forward of like, look at how much we've already done and look at like all the cool things that we're going to do in the future, hopefully. And it was just this constant like looking forward and like what the future is going to be like and how cool it is. And I started realizing, I was like, no one talks like that. Nobody
talks big anymore.
No one has ideas for like the future.
No,
it's like
they
I feel
don't.
like it's like it feels like the more and more I was walking around and looking at all those exhibits, I was realizing, I was like, we're in the future that they're talking about. And we're not sitting here being optimistic or hopeful about what the next 10, 15, 20 years looks like.
What year did the Jetsons live in?
I don't know. 20 something now,
2062.
2062? Okay,
Yes.
that's crazy.
We got a long way to go.
Yeah.
Not that far though.
There's a great, big, beautiful tomorrow.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. That was my favorite, was looking at the whole
But you're
carousel
right.
of progress. Yeah.
We're sitting in
Yeah.
what their vision was in the 50s.
Right.
And we're not where we thought we would be.
And not only that, but we're not talking, we're not optimistic. I don't hear anybody talking optimistically about what the next 20 years holds, next 40 years holds.
No, you're right. It does seem like more issues are social based than they are science based, and having hope for the future. It seems more
right
here now today.
Yeah. Anyway, I just thought it was interesting. Like we're talking about the fact that
the supercomputer predicted in 1973 that the seeds of our unraveling would be witnessed in the 2020s, and I'm beginning to kind of wonder, and maybe there's some truth to that. Maybe it's just picking up on something by the 2040s. So I don't know. I said we are. You got Musk out there that's trying. I don't really see anything beyond him.
Isn't Virgin kind of doing
Richard? Is that Sir Richard Branson still?
He's kind of into this too. He's
Who
not.
is that?
Richard Branson he's done some space flight.
Virgin, I believe.
Virgin.
Yeah, he's
But
the owner
he's
of all the
not
Virgin
as
stuff.
far as Elon Musk
Right.
is.
Well, I
but
don't think he's got the money
no.
that Elon Musk has.
Elon's
But
got
it's
the capital.
Oh yeah.
But back then, they were pretty close.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I'm saying. I maybe it's going to take that one mission that's going to just capture the imagination of the youth and go, wow, maybe that. Yeah, I'm hoping. I
imagine.
Really am.
I think that's what drives the libtards more crazy than anything. Is they're the ones who made Elon Musk rich.
Oh yeah.
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 They're kicking themselves now.
Imagine those four people launching out and getting as far away from Earth as we have been in the past, 50 whatever years or something, coming back down and landing and and it be a successful mission. Like those people are gonna, I think, be pretty important to talk to about their experience. And again, because I feel like the same thing happens with Buzz Aldrin and all the people that came back from that. Some of them still being around and talking about that, and it's just I don't know.
Those men were heroes.
Oh, yeah.
And they were looked at very highly by people.
Yes.
We don't have a lot of heroes now are celebrities.
Yes.
I was going to say exactly the same thing. Back in my day,
Influencers.
who we revered
Exactly.
and who were important were police officers, astronauts, true politicians, true leaders of the government instead of, what we have now. But now it's influencers. Now it's some guy, shooting a basketball or whatever. It's not the same thing. People aren't the same.
Well, because I think people's goals aren't the same.
Yeah,
people's goals now are about money and fame, and it's not. I don't think. I mean, I'm not saying this is everybody. I'm not blanking it, but I think there was a point in time where intelligence in certain fields was looked at very highly, and
if you go back during Kennedy and when the Russians put that module up in space around the Earth, unfortunately put that poor dog in there. I was reading the story of that dog that was put in that deal. It just upsets me of no end, knowing that dog burned up on the way in, was probably alive when it happened. Matter of fact, they have a statue of that dog in Russia of just what he contributed to, which then subsequently led to manned. But I remember when Kennedy and the Americans saw this, they're like, wow, they're a lot further along than where we need to be, and there was a national cry. That's what I'm saying. It was a rallying cry. There was some common enemy that we had, which in today's world we don't have that anymore. We are the superpower. I mean, the America is the superpower. I mean, you could talk about Russia and China. We are the superpower.
But
we talked about it in the last episode.
It's what we were talking about earlier. Somebody with vision, somebody had to pull people together, and they had to put a deadline on it.
Oh, yeah.
And that's what JFK did. He came out and he said some crazy stuff. And remember, this is the whole time that the Bay of Pigs was happening. This was all of this craziness was going on. And he gave America and really the world a deadline to reach the moon. He said, we will be there by this time.
Yep.
And he even let Russia know. He let everybody know we're going to do it. Russia could have stepped up, but they didn't.
Right. Yeah, there was a push nationwide with schools pushing math and sciences and stuff like that. So people to go into the STEM fields and,
But back then, we had an education. It took Richard Nixon coming in and bringing in the Rockefeller blueprint to destroy the American school system and make us stupid.
I'm a firm believer, even before Richard Nixon. I'm the more and more I look at what we're seeing now. Something happened after the Kennedy was assassinated.
Oh yeah,
some other force took over the United States government at that point in time, and I don't think it's ever let go.
Right.
And that's why you saw the huge pushback when Trump first got elected. I truly believe that a world order was set up with Lyndon Johnson when he came in, with the Vietnam War, and then subsequently we've been doing this stuff now since then. And I think we've kind of lost the awe, the mystery, the culture has become more narcissistic. It's become more self-absorbed. We don't really have visionaries anymore.
And when we do, they're so like politically ostracized
their
vision is a million followers.
Yeah, right.
I mean, it's the TikTok stuff and the this and that and everything else. And I not the bash, and that in and of itself, that's not bad. It's just our energies at one time were directed towards something greater than ourselves. Right. I think there was more of a outward push versus now it's about making feel good.
It's the instant gratification thing. Right now, we watch a 20-second video. We watch another 20-second video. We couldn't look 10 years into the future and go, let's get to the moon. Nobody thinks like that today. Back then, we thought about that. We weren't on these 20-second videos. We weren't on the YouTube shorts and all of this other stupid stuff.
Yeah, we were outside.
Yeah, we were outside. We could. I have an episode in mind, and I'm working for. When's the last time you seen a kid with a broken arm?
You just don't see it anymore. You used to see a ton of.
That was a badge of courage for us.
I had a couple casts.
That was a badge of honor for us. When you went to school with an arm or a leg and a cast, even the pretty girl wanted to sign your cast. But ugly, but the pretty girl wanted to sign that cast. You were a hero.
Yeah.
And now you don't see that anymore because we don't have the vision to go somewhere.
No, but that's a great point, and I'll tell you why. I was at my kid's school, I don't know, maybe a couple years ago, and they each had to put what they wanted to be when they grew up.
I've heard about things like this.
And I'm looking at all of them, and I'm seeing influencer, YouTuber, TikTok star. You don't see police officer, teacher, astronaut, pilot. You don't
Scientist,
see a lot of that.
engineer.
It's a
When
lot of
I
social
met my
stuff.
stepson 5 years ago, I asked him, "What do you want to be?" "I want to be a TikTok star." That was his whole thing. Nothing. I don't want to work. I don't want to do anything. I want to make I want to be a TikTok star. And I'm like, really?
Because they see.
That's it?
Because I think not only is it what I think a lot of the young people, that's what they're presented on a daily basis, but it's also like it's what the life that a lot of those people live is one of success. So it's like if you're like going to school and they're like, how you want to be successful? How do you be successful? Well, the one thing I know is influencers, and these influencers look like they're pretty successful to me.
But they look like it.
I know,
That's
I
fake.
know.
And these kids today,
But that's all they know.
Refer back to the
Yeah.
hat. Refer to the hat.
Right.
These kids today are so stupid that they can't see how fake it is. They can't see that the majority of it isn't true. These people aren't living like that. That what's real and really changing somebody else's life is real. These influencers don't change anybody's life. They're just doing the best they can to pretend like they're somebody.
Right.
Why
But I
can't
don't
we
think-
go back to the day where you do something to change somebody's life?
But what I think is going on is that I don't think the young people of today, I think, know all that. They're not, I think, mature or wise enough to know that, and I don't think they have people in their life to look at them and say, that's
I
fake.
agree.
No,
That's
and they
not
don't
real.
have that challenge. Like your
Yeah,
generation had challenges to
Right.
face. This
Yes.
generation doesn't have that, and they don't see the need for the vision to go to space. I
Right.
wanna go to space.
Or the
Okay.
vision for anything. You know, how many we're looking at right now, we're looking at how many of the trade fields aren't going to be filled in the next 10 years.
Well, we'll have Optimus for that.
There
The
you-
robots will
uh-oh.
fix all that.
Uh-oh.
That
Skynet.
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 Well, I've said that the next, and I know probably Elon has talked about with AI, the advancements in AI, but I'm telling the big jump will occur when they master quantum computing.
Yes.
That's when you can pair AI with quantum computing. Now you've changed the paradigm. You have you've now made AI. That's when AI will be Skynet. That's when it will become Skynet.
Yeah.
I think that it's so funny how a lot of these episodes are intertwined with other episodes we've done. If you remember in our episodes with MK Ultra, they have been mapping the human brain for decades, and secret governmental experiments. All this has come out in documents, congressional hearings. I'm telling you, the goal is to map the human brain into AI to get AI to think like a human.
Cortex.
I'm telling you that it's all, I can see it right now. I can see how all this is converging together. It's coming. And now we can turn that and use it for good, which I think would be great for deep space exploration. When you're talking about sending things to Mars, the first thing they're going to probably do when we get to that point where we can even launch stuff from the moon to Mars, it's going to be a prior ship that's going to be powered by the very advanced AI at that time. Hopefully, you'll have some sort of quantum computing angle to it. where it can-
2001 Space Odyssey.
Yeah, I
Hal.
mean, so
Hal killed everybody.
Oh.
yeah. Well, I mean,
They've been preparing us a long time for this.
if it
Or,
could-
but again, I think a lot of times, I think sci-fi likes to push the boundaries of what's possible, and I think that gives a lot of people inspiration of what we could do. That's at least what I think. That's
well,
what's
that's
happened
how
in the
like
past,
Star
you know?
Trek and
Yeah,
all
yeah,
these.
yeah.
That's what kind of the premise was. I mean,
I think what we need to do is we need to get the writers for South Park
Okay.
on the show and find out what their predictions for the next 10 to 15
There you
years
go.
are with Artemis and
Simpsons too.
Yeah.
Simpsons. That's what I'm. What did I
Simpsons.
say?
You said South Park, but I thought you meant Simpsons.
Sorry, my bad.
That's okay.
Getting the brain cells.
That's okay.
You
Yeah,
know,
your brain. That's
So
all right.
Yeah.
I got you covered.
But
Thank you, buddy.
I do
Appreciate you.
wonder how many
you just like the hat.
how many safe
Love the
like,
hat.
How many fail safes they have in place.
This is
Because
NASA.
obviously, no. But what I'm saying is, you keep talking about AI and how it's going to take over, how We keep talking about
I
the
thought you meant on the
Skynet.
spaceship, yeah.
No. But what I'm saying is, I mean, you were talking about NASA here, and we're talking about fail-safes. We're talking about AI. We're talking about this stuff, and it's like I wonder, obviously, I feel like if we have a bunch of sci-fi stuff that has told us about Skynet and about HAL and all those things, I do believe there has been problems in the past where AI has gotten in control of weapons and has killed people in our modern history that has happened in the past couple years or whatever, and things that has happened. And I wonder what kind of fail-safes we can put into place to help stop that or mitigate those kind of things, because obviously can
it? Because there was that laboratory in Japan where the robots killed some of the scientists, and they pulled the plug. They pulled the electricity from the laboratory, and the AI and the robots were trying to restore the power.
And what I'm saying is
they were smart enough to figure that out and go forward and try to restore the power.
Right. But I still think that
a couple years ago.
Right. I still think that I could be wrong, and this may be too optimistic of me, and maybe this is where I'm the visionary. I don't know. I still think we're the creators of those things, and we can put them out. So I feel like if we start to notice these patterns, we need to start coming up with things, safe words, code words. What do you call it whenever you like a sleeper agent? There's got to be something you got to do, something button you got to push. There's got
Manchurian candidate.
We have to figure out. We have to figure out something, like, because again, in case we're in deep space and it's like, oh yeah, these humans are not optimized properly.
That was XAI did that. They actually had a position where it was your job was when the code word was said, you unplug everything,
turn it off,
kill it, everything.
But if it's smart enough to try to turn itself back on,
well, that's what I'm saying. There's got to be a way in which, regardless, the AI cannot have access over this situation portion, or has to believe in its hallucinogenic fake mind that this button doesn't exist or whatever.
I think I think this is where we've talked about 5G towers. I think they're fixing to go to 6G towers. Bill, you may know something about what's kind of on the horizon with that stuff.
Starlink.
If
you're AT&T and Verizon or T-Mobile, you start to partner with Starlink, which is what T-Mobile did.
Interesting. I didn't know that.
The future is going to be satellites, and you're on life support now if you're on standard cell phone, because satellite's going to be the future, and that opens up a whole other world of problems. And
I think that's where machines will just wirelessly draw power. I think that's kind of how you're gonna see how that evolves over time.
Well, right now we're in control, right? The humans are in control.
Yeah.
We think we're in control.
We think we're in control. Eventually, there's going to be a teeter point where now we're not as in control as we thought we were, and that's when that's going to be a problem.
Mm-hmm.
We might be there. I don't know.
Maybe, I don't know. And that's all I'm saying is that I feel like
that's our fourth turning.
Yeah, I just feel like there's got to be. I hope that I'm not the only person in this world of AI surrounding me that is talking about the way to stop it all in case of an emergency. I hope that there is somebody smarter than I am, and hopefully more financially stable than I am, that is working on this process, because that's the one thing I would like to figure out.
You know what? It's funny you said that. You know what really bothers me? Something Jason said the other day on one of our episodes, and we've talked about it, that America is working on their version of AI. China's working on their version of AI. Russia's working on theirs. Everybody's working on it. And just like everything else, America comes in and they put all these restrictions on emission controls. China doesn't.
No.
Okay. So what happens if China's AI decides to take over our AI, because we put in our stops. We put in our stop measures. We do all the things we need to do to protect ourselves. But then China's comes in, takes over Starlink, takes over this, takes over that, because they don't have the same things.
I don't know.
I think behind closed doors, I have full faith that, trust me, that the United States government, if they know exactly what China has, and what their capabilities are. I think we kind of touched on that in our episode on the Venezuela about the technology our military used to go in there. There's some pretty crazy stuff that was utilized, and a lot of that tech that they were using to supposedly combat that was Chinese anti-stealth and stuff like that. So we overcame that pretty easy.
Oh yeah.
So I'm a firm believer that DARPA is doing work.
Oh yeah.
I truly believe that they're probably 25 to 30 years ahead of what's out of what they have have made available.
That was that flex that Stoney talked about.
I truly believe that. I think it's I think our challenge as a country is going to kind of reestablishing a common understanding of ourselves. I think that's what we've lost. We're kind of gotten off track, and I think we do sometimes have elected leaders in office who are more worried about their own selves and are not providing the leadership that the people that elected them will want them to do. And I think that's why you have this apathy, why you have huge amounts of people who don't even bother to go vote. They don't care because they don't feel like what I do, nothing fundamentally is going to be any different. It's still just going to run the way it's run.
But you see, in right there, in your statement lies the problem. They're not our leaders. They've never been our leaders. Under a constitutional republic, they are our representatives. And even our founding fathers knew the day that they could vote themselves a raise, that's why the early ones didn't even get paid, that they would become corrupt. They're not our leaders. They have told themselves and convinced them in their delusional self, like Ian said, that they are our leaders. They're not our leaders. They are our servants. They are our people that are supposed to be representing us in our best interest, and that's gone.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So that's what I'm saying. So they're not.
They're not doing what's in our best interest.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. So the will of the people is not really being conveyed in accomplishing what needs to be accomplished. So regardless, I just think it kind of goes back to a deeper issue that we have as people, whereas the people back in President Kennedy's era, when I need for y'all, the country, to rally around that we're going to beat the Russians. We're going to put a man on the moon. And there was a collective rallying cry behind that. Everybody got behind that idea. The problem is we don't really have that anymore because I hate to say it, it's just we've just the country's just different now.
Because people aren't proud of America anymore. Back then, you got that because we were proud to be
Americans.
Americans.
Yeah, you got people. I hate to say it, but you got kids now in school that just they say they hate the country or whatever the case may be. I mean, it's just crazy.
But think about this: America is still the greatest country in the world because even the people that hate it won't leave.
Oh, there's no doubt about it. And yeah, I agree with that.
Okay, if all of these people in the world thought that America was such a bad country, why did they get on these little floats and half boats and half whatever and risk death to make it to American shores?
Well, but it's the same thing that we've talked about, I think, numerous times on this podcast, is that I think people are comfortable and they have their things that they are, they've been around this for their entire lives, whereas people like that, like you talked about, have been in a different country with a different regime underneath, above them. And it's the same thing that happened whenever we talked about last week on the episode. We came in and took Venezuela's president and all the Venezuelans,
president,
regardless, doesn't matter. That's what all the publicists will call it. Doesn't matter. Their leader, whoever, their dictator. We came in, stole them, and then the whole country has been praising us. Everyone who is here in America that is a Venezuela or has, is a second generation Venezuelan is like, hurrah, let's go. And everyone else who has been comfortable around here is like, I can't believe we would do something like that. It's just the same thing, and that I think is the world we live in now. And that's
I agree with
sad, and that is a sad reality of it, is that I think people are very comfortable with the freedoms that they have and the freedoms that they were,
I'm hoping that the younger generation, such as yourself, Ian, your age group, even the people younger than you, can pull us out of the mess that unfortunately has been laid down by boomers and Gen X, because
it's not boomers. Gen X started this.
Well, hold on now.
Boomers left y'all with some great stuff. Y'all the ones who messed this up.
Because Gen X, I get that, I understand that, but I think the seeds of that started with boomers. And unfortunately, because the boomers are vastly different than the parents that came before them.
Yes.
And their grandparents, if you want to go back to the silent generation.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's just what it is.
We left y'all with
That's
respect. We left y'all with a whole lot of stuff that y'all decided to change.
Maybe you did, but I don't think everyone in your generation did.
That's what I'm saying. I just think they were issues that came down from that. And I'm not saying that just didn't happen in a vacuum.
And it's the same thing with my generation. There's a lot of people in my generation that I do not agree with.
My hope is that Elon Musk inspires this young to aspire something greater than themselves.
These 4 astronauts that are God willing are going to fly out of Earth and around the moon and come back down and land safely, and are going to tell of their experiences. And I hope that people like that can also be.
Ian, look, don't screw this up, okay?
I'm going to try not to, man.
I just pulled an article, Artemis 2 seen from the ISS space station.
Okay.
So it looks like
it's getting ready.
The ship is on the pad. This was posted 10 hours ago.
Really?
An astronaut from the International Space Station took the photo and sent it. And it looks like it's on schedule to
Didn't it
launch.
get postponed for a couple of days because one of them was sick or something?
Probably.
This is saying it could launch as soon as February the 6th.
6th, yeah, I saw that, yeah.
Which, as of the time of this recording, is give or take 2 weeks, which is crazy to think about, that we could be.
Yeah, they say the re-entry at 25,000 miles per hour is the fastest re-entry ever attempted.
Re-entry
coming back
okay.
to Earth. They said the spacecraft will perform a skip re-entry, briefly dipping into the upper atmosphere to use its lift to bounce back outward, dissipating energy and enabling a more precise landing.
Wow.
That's exactly what I thought was going to happen.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. That's what I was going to say too. That's what I was going to suggest too.
They say the U.S. Navy will recover the crew and spacecraft using a San Antonio class amphibious transport dock.
Wow.
They said
okay.
So
land in the ocean.
Yeah, it's going to land in the Pacific, and
dang,
they're going to pull it out and
wow.
And reuse it. So
well, here's hoping. This is exciting, and yes, even though we talked about some pretty heavy stuff here at the end, I think that I'm excited to see where this takes place. And like I had said before, I hope that they all have a very very how do you not only just a safe trip, but I hope they're able to get a lot of information out of it. I hope they're able to learn a lot and hopefully make everything better for not only just NASA but SpaceX as well. I hope that this is a very fruitful trip.
Yeah, I think it's going to test those things they want to test with the hopes of another trip in another 2-3 years, and hopefully we'll be seeing on TV.
Yeah,
I would love to actually see it in my lifetime, to actually see the news of a ship landing on the moon and somebody walking out of it and walking on the moon. I just think that would be an absolute just an awe-inspiring to say we did it.
And I can't wait to hear all the people that say it's all fake all over again.
Oh, yeah, and there will be some that will say, yeah, it is fake.
Yes, of course there will be.
AI generated.
Oh, definitely.
There'll be naysayers no matter what.
No matter what you do.
I just hope they put another lane on I-12.
There you go. Maybe. That would be nice.
It would be nice, wouldn't it?
Well, before we wrap this up, is there anything that you want people to go towards or to read or to see from you, Mr. Bill, or is there just or any last words you want to say?
No, I don't. I just really hope that as we talked about all this new AI, things are used for the good of the people and not for the bad. Unfortunately, that's not the reality. The reality is there's going to be people that use it for the good and use it for the bad. But thank you very much for having me. Yeah. This was probably the best coffee I've ever had.
Oh, really?
Okay.
It's top 5, bro.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well, I appreciate you.
Are you using those beans?
I am.
Good.
We have some very nice beans that obviously Jason.
That's what I drink at home
all the time. Yeah.
That which you had. That's what
blend,
I
that's
good.
mixture.
I like it.
Those coffee beans I'll order.
Yeah.
It's a low acid coffee.
It's great.
They're very good beans, and
I'll never know what it tastes like.
Well,
no, I'm sorry, man.
Yeah.
Sucks.
Luckily, I got to try the poo-poo coffee first before my accident.
I am going to get some of the elephant poop coffee.
Yeah.
That's
One of these
next.
days.
Elephant poop.
Yes.
Sounds great.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about it, and I'm scared of it. But if he buys it, I will make it for him. That's what I promised him.
There you go.
Well, I'll come back on when they take off with the ship.
Yes,
Yeah,
absolutely.
that would be
Takes
fun.
off.
I'm excited, and also I want to keep in touch as far as like how. Oh, I hope everything goes safely and they come back around, because I want to have a good conversation about them landing back safely or if there is any problems, very minor.
There you go.
Anyways, as you all know who have listened to this podcast for any length of time, you know how to give us your comments. We have comment sections on Spotify and on YouTube. Be sure to subscribe on any platform you listen to us on. It's greatly appreciated. Or give us a like, however, or 5 stars. Every platform has their own way of doing it. Be sure to let us know that you love the show. We also have people who want to give us more long-form responses. We have an email address, getoffendedtogether@gmail.com, or you could give us those more lengthy responses that comment sections don't really allow for. And until next week, thank you so much for listening. Bye-bye.
Goodbye, everyone, and God bless.
See ya.
Boomers remembered when we aimed for the moon and meant it. Gen X remembers watching budget cuts cut big dreams. Millennials inherited a world that says everything must be cheap, fast, and on demand. Artemis 2 doesn't fit neatly into any of that. Multi-million-dollar spacesuits sound insane until you realize it's cheaper than losing the ability to go beyond Earth at all. This mission isn't nostalgia. It's a question mark hanging in orbit. Are we still the kind of civilization that builds things meant to outlast us? Or are we just renting the future month to month? We love to argue about price tags. We always have. We did it with the interstate highways, with Apollo, with the internet, and now with Artemis. But here's the truth. The spacesuit isn't expensive because NASA forgot how to shop. It's expensive because it has kept a human alive where the universe is actively trying to kill them. The moon isn't a destination, it's a test of engineering, patience, leadership, and whether America still believes long-term thinking matters. Artemis 2 isn't about planting a flag. It's about proving we can still finish something hard. Because nations that stop building for the future don't collapse overnight. They just quietly hand it to someone else. Thank you for hanging out with us today. You're the best. Peace.